No, it's not November Carol. It is December the 5th. Hi, everybody. Lindy London, Denim Blue. You're probably no longer with us. But very good to see you. Very good to see you. TFL at War, Andrew Cruz, Autumn Minnick. Hi, Sherry Hughes. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm a skeptic. Antenna, a cyberistic gal, and Barb in Ohio. So now I know. Jane Northrup, Patricia White, Rage Against the Machine. Mary Mack, hi. You're listening while walking your dog. Hi, Toby. Haskasun, Oracle 11, Elizabeth Rivard, Celestial Wonders, hi. Awakened Sleeper, hello. I found my camera, finally. And this was the sky. I don't know, just about 45 minutes ago. The manufactured clouds. We didn't have any today, but they came about. Look at what I absolutely believe to be black carbon dust. That very cheap ingredient that they can use to modify the weather. All of that gray, black crap. Lovely, isn't it? Lovely. Yeah. Gee, I remember those clouds when I was growing up. Not. Arizona. Very close to the border. What are they going to be bringing in for us? What kind of weather will they be bringing in? The little tiny bubbles. Activated nanobots. Okie dokie. Washington, Northern Oregon, flooding, landslides. Yep. This little storm that they're calling an atmospheric river. Oh, so many atmospheric rivers are coming in now, huh? Well, it's not going to taper off until sometime tomorrow. And what has been already happening there? Let's see. Atmospheric river blasts. Pacific Northwest with rain, flooding, landslides, rail service between Seattle and Portland, Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, halted due to a landslide, and many schools and roads were shut down in both Washington and Oregon. The potent storm, well, forecast to continue into Thursday. Hope you guys in Washington and Oregon are doing okay. So, check this out. Now, I was having a conversation with my 81-year-old neighbor, and I run errands for her, and there's a little health clinic here, and she had a prescription that was sent to the health clinic from a drugstore in Nogales. She went once with someone. I was there 3 times. They couldn't find it. And I come back and I tell her, I told them that I would have them call you. And she calls me about a half hour later and says, they found it. So I went down to pick it up, and I'm like, nothing is working. And that was my conversation with my neighbor. Nothing is working right anymore. Nothing. I actually feel very not quite right in the world anymore. Now, my circumstances, one would feel not quite right. So I ask all of you who have a stable life, do you feel like living now is bringing about a bit of discomfort, shall I say? I don't know. I can't really describe what I'm feeling, but I just feel like life is off. It's off balance. It's not working. It's just not working. Like the gears are now, they need to be greased or something. Something has to happen. Your child is between Portland and Washington. Did she say anything about this storm? Everything just feels off. It doesn't feel good out and about. Like, and I'm not saying it feels horrible. I'm not saying it feels, like scary but I'm not the type, I don't suffer from anxiety or fear, though I do get scared every now and then, but it just doesn't feel like we're moving about naturally. She doesn't talk to you. Okay. Absolutely agree. Something very wicked coming our way. It's not working for sure. Almost like another version of our former one. Yes, I feel like I'm in a movie waiting to be attacked. I'm waiting to be attacked because I've been attacked so often, and I can't stand the cyber world where you get attacked because you don't think like everybody else. Big darkness. Yeah. It's like sandpaper. Yeah, it ain't smooth anymore. Just ain't smooth. Everything seems harder than it should be. Yeah. All right, well, staying on that same theme of nothing quite working right.
Ебаный пиздец. Пиздец просто. Что творится, блядь? Пиздец. Пиздец. Просто пиздец. Блядь, пидорасы, блядь, что вы делаете? Я хуй. Ею. Пиздец, блядь. Сука! Прыгайте! Прыгайте, прыгайте! Прыгай! Стой, Юля! Стой, стой, стой! Прыгай, Юля, прыгай! Юля, отходи! Блядь, сука! Блядь! Ебануться! Блядь, отключите нахуй эту хуйню!
Forward, forward.
Land on the coaster.
Forward.
Okay, they moved the chair to a spot where he can jump off, and he made it. So, but really, they can't stop the chairlift. They can't stop it. They're just swinging people around. That's a little strange. Everything's a little strange. U.S. service sector surveys struck off hard. Data hemorrhaging. Oh my God. I'm losing it, guys. Weakness in the manufacturing service sector is plummeting. What's going on? Oh, I think maybe our economy is not that good. Yeah. And service sector, well, let's see. What is this? Labor market implodes. Job openings crater. Prior data revised sharply lower. Yes, they come out every month. We've done so well. We've created so many millions of jobs. And then the data is revised sharply. Everything is a lie. When government comes out with their data, that needs to be verified. I amaze you. Uh-oh. Did I say something wrong? Oh, I don't know. Job openings crater. So what's going to happen? Service sector going down. We became a service economy. That's what we were. Manufacturing has been shot dead a long time ago. Okay. Now at the service sector plummeting, job openings crater. Where are people going to get their third and fourth job to pay their bills? Don't know. U.S. Army enlists University of Arkansas at Little Rock to fight online misinformation. Isn't it funny that just yesterday I had posted this article, and it was a Republican rep who was talking about TikTok and how China was using TikTok as cognitive warfare. And he said, that's not something that we do here. Oh, maybe we do a little soft power thing, but we don't use cognitive warfare. Really? Really, little rep in Washington? U.S. Army partners with the University of Arkansas, and they plan to combat together disinformation, misinformation, and something defined as cognitive threats. Really, the goal is, quote, to detect and combat bad actors online who are trying to manipulate how and what populations think. You think they're going to go after our government? No. But if an actor is perceived as good, does manipulating how and what populations think then magically become a good thing? It's a new initiative, backed with a grant worth $5 million. What the deal reveals is that more and more universities in the U.S. are getting hired, whether by nonprofits or government, to work towards this goal Another key player in putting this project together was Senator John Boozman. A tool. Yes, they're going to be developing a tool that will detect bots active on social media. And this tool will be web-based, but also based on the school apparently already using AI to harvest troves of data from social networks. U.S. Army. The military coming after you. They've been already coming after you. I've posted those videos. I've done that research. Yeah, I worked off other people's research. U.S. Army. We've got an awful lot on social media platforms. And they're sitting at their computers. And they actually develop 10 to 15 usernames, and they go at it. Just trying to cause a lot of disruption, watching what people are saying and doing, and oh boy, that sky looks awful. Okay, we are no longer the United States of America. We're not living what we lived decades ago. It's gone. It ain't coming back. We are living a totalitarian. We're in a totalitarian society already. It's cementing itself every single day. Former cop faces prison for implying something offensive in a meme. 6 months. 6 months for messages sent to a private WhatsApp chat group. This is in the UK. All right, well, I've posted, many people have posted on that legislation. Perception gets you jailed. If someone perceives that you are writing something that is hateful, you get charged. You're not living in a free country, the UK. It's gone, and it ain't coming back. 62-year-old Michael Chadwell sent a meme which featured multicolored parrots and children of diverse ethnic backgrounds, accompanied by text asking why diversity is celebrated in animal species but not humanity, and a Facebook comment, not his, but a Facebook comment below the meme said, "Because I've never had a bike stolen out of my front yard by a parrot." Okay, I'm not making the connection, but apparently, I guess there is one. Chadwell now faces 6 months in prison under the Communications Act 2003 for what the court deemed a grossly offensive implication, meaning he was not even convicted for the content of the meme, but what other people might take from it. So a district judge rejected Chadwell's defense that the meme was simply akin to a Monty Python sketch and was poking fun at woke culture, asserting that it was intended. The judge asserted that it was intended to mean black people steal. Now, when I read this first, I was like, I don't get it. I didn't even understand the comment underneath it. Maybe I'm just slow now. Sure, my brain is slow. But hey, the judge interpreted that and then jailed the guy. Something profoundly ironic about a justice system that can convict an ex-copper for chatting shit on WhatsApp, but can barely keep up with the flow of rapists, murderers, and abusers still on the force. All right. By inferring a grossly offensive meaning from a meme and considering this sufficient for a conviction, the court has ventured into the realm of punishing perceived implications, a move that blurs the lines between actual speech and inferred meanings. This latest development, where judges adjudicate on the supposed implications of a message, escalates the risk of arbitrary judicial decisions, I would say so. The problem is compounded in the realm of digital communication, where context and tone are crucial and often misunderstood. This completely eliminates all nuance. Well, frankly, nuance has been pretty much eliminated everywhere. I don't even think most adults know what nuance means. But hey, everything is black and white, dichotomous thinking, no nuance, no gray. This completely eliminates all nuance and empowers judges to decide what's offensive based on their own personal biased interpretation. Well, that sounds like a free society, doesn't it? Yay! Now, this Arlington house that exploded, which I posted on my video earlier this morning, it's quite something. And more information came out about the man who owns the house. Massive explosion destroys home of crazed man in Arlington, Virginia neighborhood. And as I was reading the information on him, you have to wonder, was he really crazed? Or was he brought to crazed? Jonathan Yu. Okay, so this is the information that has been found so far. So, 4:45 p.m. Tuesday, Arlington County, Virginia police were called out to a report of possible shots fired. Once officers got to the scene, they became aware that a man inside the home had fired a flare gun out of the window 30 to 40 times. The owner of the home, James Yu, then barricaded himself inside and refused to make contact with police. As a result, they obtained a search warrant, and while attempting to execute it, the suspect fired multiple shots at the officers from inside the home. Then at 8:45, an explosion occurred, leveling the entire property. As you can see, yeah, that was a pretty massive explosion. So, this is additional alleged information. He's a far leftist that posts anti-white hatred and quotes Noam Chomsky. He accused his neighbors of being spies on social media just 3 days ago. He had a previous encounter with the FBI. He filed countless frivolous lawsuits against his own sister and wife. He was the former head of global security at the U.S. government's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. So, he wasn't so crazed for a while. He became crazed. What made him become crazed? So a lot of people are putting in all of their presumptions. But we all know they have the technology to bring an individual right there. Wow. So, last night in the Dallas airport, answering some of the stupid questions and statements that the libtards brought up during my last airport video exposing the illegals that Democrats are trafficking through our country. Stop with the Democrats, stop with the Republicans, because no team has done anything about the border. And this has been an issue for decades. Stop with the bullshit. The Republicans, when they were in power, did squat. Trump did pretty much squat. Oh yeah, the numbers definitely fell. We had the pandemic, Title 42. Wow, a lithium sky. A whole lot of lithium clouds. Wow, it is pink out there. Woof. Wow. Wish you could see it. I don't have my camera, this camera wire long enough, so I haven't seen it like this. As bad as this since I moved here. And it's a wow. Well, maybe the lithium will just subdue all of those at the border. And there's a lot of them. Okay, so
back in Dallas Airport, and every single gate, just about, you've got illegals. You ask how you can tell. They all have the same paperwork. They all have the manila envelopes. A lot of them have the Five Below bags. I guess Five Below is one of the sponsor companies, but it's all over the airport, everywhere you go. It's late now, but even still, you can tell just right here, all the manila envelopes and folders. Right, oh, it's right here. Haiti, ¿a dónde vas en Estados Unidos? ¿A dónde vas?
Hawaii.
Huh?
Hawaii.
Ohio. Ohio. Okay, Columbus, Ohio. So they've all got the manila envelopes. They're going to Columbus, Ohio from Haiti. But it's like that all over the airport. To all these libtards out there who said, how can you tell? How can you tell? It's very easy when you've seen enough of it. When you see people traveling around with plastic bags instead of luggage, and they've got manila envelopes. Some of them have passports, some of them, and some people say, well, you can't fly if you're illegal. Yeah, you can. Unfortunately, now we have these stays of deportation. Then other people would say, well, they're not illegal if they're allowed in. They still are illegal. They're just being given stays of deportation, notices to appear. The vast majority won't qualify, but that doesn't matter. A lot of them, you say, well, you have to have ID to travel. That's not true. We are printing IDs on paper. So you can give them any name you want, and our Homeland Security will print you a paper ID. That's the state of America right now. Every airport, from the border to your neighborhood. And just to make Mark Morgan happy, I do still blame the people coming. We don't have a right to break into our country, but it's the organizations, United Nations, all these leftist NGOs that are profiting off of it, fake news media that's lying about it, and the politicians that are bought off by the cartels. So
and the cartels have a big play in all of this. Tucson sector, Yuma, Arizona.
In Arizona this weekend, the most encounters ever seen. This tweet from the Tucson sector chief, 17,500 encounters in a single week. That's the highest the sector has ever seen. That's 2,500 people a day. Tomorrow, Customs and Border Protection set to close the border crossing station in Lukeville, Arizona, to allow agents to be shifted elsewhere along the border to deal with the surge of migrants crossing illegally into America. Joining me right now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Arizona Republican Senate candidate Kari Lake. Kari, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us. Assess what's happening in Arizona for us. Greg Abbott told us it's now the tip of the spear.
The worst border in the whole country is in Arizona, and it's the Tucson sector. Those numbers are shocking, especially when you consider what they were a few years ago, where we barely had anybody coming across illegally under a great policy that President Trump had put in. And now we're seeing just one day, one morning, Maria, 950 people poured across in the Tucson sector in one morning, and 71% were just adults. This is not families coming across, and we do have those, but the majority of these people are fighting age men. We are watching as we're being invaded, and we're seeing a foreign army basically pour across our border. We talk a lot about Bidenflation. We have a Biden invasion happening on the border in Arizona, and it seems like we're not getting any attention from the White House, from DC. We need to get this border wall completed.
Well,
and
just
this week, Maria, and remember last time I was on, I was talking about how the Biden administration had welded open the gates so people could pour in.
Yeah.
Just this week, we saw cartel members moving in heavy equipment and literally chopping down parts of the wall. And a reporter was videotaping it, and they were blowing her kisses and laughing. This is what's happening. The cartels own and control our southern border. And this is really, in my opinion, an act of war.
This is incredible that we're not seeing any response from the Biden White House. They will not return to the Trump policies. Can you give us a sense of life in Arizona as a result of this? Have the neighborhoods been affected right by that border?
Oh, absolutely. A little town called Sasabe, which is right on the Arizona-Mexico border, used to have a population of 2,000. There are 15 families remaining. It's in cartel control. And so this is just one small town. Nogales, I just took a group of mothers down there, our Moms for Carrie coalition. They wanted to see what was happening and how these people were ending up in places like New York City on buses or on airplanes with their free airline ticket and going all over the country. And we went down to Nogales, where they process all these people and put them on buses. And this is a town that tells me they're seeing people from all over the world, from Asia, from China, from Africa. And they're having trouble with the people who are just pouring onto the streets. They don't speak the language. They don't know where to put them because it's a town of 22,000 people. They can't handle the influx. We are going to see Arizona forever changed because of this if we don't get serious and shut down this illegal activity and treat the cartels as the terrorist organizations that they are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to Nogales tomorrow. I'll bring my camera. I just want to go, get what I need to get, come back. I don't want to be hanging out there, but if I see anything, I will film it.
More migrants are flooding into New York City, but more migrants are flooding into New York City, but it may now be harder to provide them with essential services.
Fox 5's Lizette Nunez is live in the East Village with the details where we had some problems recently. Good morning, Lizette.
Good morning, Dan and Tashani. I think what's happening here outside of St. Bridget's School is just the perfect example and also insight on how the migrant crisis has been playing out here in New York City. We have a number of folks here camping out, waiting for the school to reopen so they could offer services to migrants. Later this week, the mayor will head back to D.C. to address the migrant crisis, of course, on a national level. This comes after last time his trip was cut short after his chief fundraiser's home was raided.
No city should be handling a national problem of this magnitude and this scale.
Mayor Adams sounding off at a conference focused on the migrant crisis as he preps for another trip to D.C. this Thursday to address the matter at the national level. Adams highlighting the financial strain it has placed on the city.
We have about $30-something billion that we can move around. Out of that $30-something billion, $12 billion must go to this crisis. Something is going to have to give, and it's going to be painful to the communities who are in need.
But City Hall could be getting more oversight on how it's dealing with the crisis. According to the New York Post, New York City Comptroller Brad Lander has taken away Mayor Adams' power to reach emergency deals with contractors without prior approval amid the ongoing migrant crisis. A spokesperson from the Comptroller's office told the Post the move came after $1.7 billion in emergency contracts were reviewed in a 21-month span and found, quote, extensive failures to report subcontractors despite problems that surfaced with them. Recently, tension was also felt with the city and local food pantries. Chaos unfolded at the St. Bridget's Reticketing Center in the East Village as advocates attempted to step in and feed asylum seekers.
No one seems to know exactly what's supposed to happen at this place. No one seems to know exactly where food is going to come from. No one seems to know if we are even allowed to help them officially.
Soon after,
Oh, this is not going to be very pretty at all. You want to talk chaos? You're beginning to notice it, and it's only going to get worse.
after one of the organizations posted this video, they were contacted by members of Mayor Adams' team and given an area behind the facility to carry out their missions. Advocates say they want more dialogue with the city to continue to help out in any way they can.
Ah, yes. Help out any way you can. Let's not talk about actually closing the border and deport. No. People from India and other countries are taking training classes on how to enter the USA illegally. Includes how to care for children in the desert for days. Yeah. Run, crawl, climb. Boot camps for illegal entry into the United States. Wow. Alrighty. Illegal immigration rackets, which help hundreds from places in India to settle in foreign countries, especially the U.S., are professionally run entities that do not leave much to chance, with people choosing to cross into the U.S. through dangerous routes, passing through Canada or Mexico. Human smugglers hold camps in Gujarat, where they train their clients to scale 15-foot high walls, slide through barbed fences, and run long distances with their children and heavy bags. Sounds like military training. The aspirants are also trained to live on little water and food. They are taught to survive only on candies and chocolates, while babies are given formula milk for days. This prepares the clients to handle adversities, in case the crossover takes time, or if they are forced to deal with hostile conditions. Another police officer said. Police sources said they are now concentrating on identifying the farmhouses where the training camps were held. Oh, wow. Yeah, what the hell? Uh-huh. Okay. Training camps. It does sound like military training. All right. Our cameras were rolling in Lukeville, Arizona, as groups of illegal immigrants rushed through a breach in the border wall as Border Patrol and federal contractors were trying to fix it. Just let them on through. That's our Border Patrol. And yeah, Arizona. stretches all the way down. Hundreds of adult men from around the world. Human child trafficking. It's very real. What's happening? And here's Christopher Hitchens on mass immigration. Resist it while you can.
Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you.
Now, did you hear that?
Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you.
We're all paying for the rope to choke us. In all Western countries, we're all literally paying for our own demise.
This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to, these are the ones who hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone, if you wonder what will happen if you don't, look and see. Stories about little pigs can't be taught to children in English schools anymore, lest offense be taken by the religion of peace. Resist it while you can. Give it up.
Well, we didn't. So, we are paying. We're paying a big price. What climate crisis? Private jet demands surge. So Taylor Swift took her private jet to see her football player boyfriend play in Green Bay. She jetted out a few hours later. The next time you see this hypocrite Taylor Swift complain about climate change, hit her over the head with this post. What is the Taylor Swift madness about? What do people like about her? I don't understand it. But hey. And yeah, John Kerry, at every global warming conference, he takes a private jet. The world will end in 1984. No, it's 1990. Well, 2000. 2008. 2014. Now it's 2030. My God. How can we listen to these deranged, very, very deranged human beings? Seriously deranged. So, yeah, private jets, renting them, owning them, flying all over. They're the same people who want to take away your right to even drive a friggin' car. And yeah, people are really hurting. Well, let me get back to that. Here.
First time in ages. Let's take a look at this.
Okay. So he got a letter, an email from an insurance insider who is speaking out. Does it matter that it's in the UK? No, because it's coming. We know that. We are in this together.
I'll title this, "They are coming for your car." Here is the entire message in English. I work in the IT department of a very large, renowned insurance company headquartered in Germany. Unfortunately, what I tell my circle of friends and relatives about my projects, they dismiss as conspiracy theory. Many people don't see or understand what will happen to us with this great digitalization revolution. especially the possible dangers or misuse. Here is a small excerpt of the pilot projects that we are working on. Topic: the digitized car. Pilot projects which are already underway. In the next 10 years, it will no longer be possible to insure old cars, and it says, I drive like one like that too. I drive many old cars. You'll be forced to buy a digital car. Obviously, we know that electric cars are all connected. You can no longer have a simple charger. Your charger has to be smart, so the charger knows how much you're charging, how much charge you're putting in. And I and many others have been saying that it's a red flag that you have to use an app on your phone to charge your car. You'll be forced to buy a digital car. Otherwise, you won't get insurance. These cars are online 24/7 and in real time in touch with the insurance and traffic authorities for remote surveillance and surveillance of the authorities. And that's no joke. Depending on your driving style, the time and the speed, the type of driver, your insurance premium will automatically adjust. i.e., if you drive too fast or are too risky, you will not only pay a fine to the magistrate, but your insurance premium automatically increases. So let's say you register your car to drive at night. You're a nighttime worker. You get a higher premium, and your car automatically knows that and feeds it back to the insurance company. Let's say you have a few more passengers in your car. The weight in your car goes up. Your premium goes up at the same time. Automatically, this is all happening in real time. If your premium is not paid, they'll switch your car off. You quite simply won't even be able to start it. We're already in discussions with several major automotive brands to bring a Europe-wide standardized technical one-size-fits-all solution into the market. Doesn't sound scary, does it? Many people don't know that fully integrated breathalyzers called AlcoGuard will be mandatory in the coming vehicle generations. This means that if you are drunk, you will no longer be able to start your car. I talked about this in a video the other day with some legislation that is going on in the USA. And I said, nothing to do with drink driving. You can guarantee that this isn't either. Even if you are below the minimum alcohol limit, this data will be passed on to the insurance company and you will be penalized with a higher premium. If you are drunk beyond this limit, the relevant authorities will automatically be informed and your insurance will be cancelled immediately. We're also relying on the upcoming digital ID. Again, I did a huge video about this almost 12 months ago now. It did 300,000 views because everything is currently going through. We're already there. We're also relying on the upcoming digital ID, European digital ID. Again, a lot about that recently. This stuff is happening. To access personal data such as your health, traffic and home information. The background is that all the necessary customer data is already stored somewhere, and as long as it does not leave the EU, everything is fine for the insurance sector with the GDPR. They're already setting this up. Nowadays, customers are carelessly giving their okay under the small print that we can collect their personal data, as we do. Yep, no worries, I agree to the terms and conditions, we all do it. In real time, we collect medical records, living conditions, vehicle data, etc. in the event of damage. Upcoming pilot projects are planned with credit institutions and banks to reward a healthy lifestyle and punish an unhealthy one, in which we monitor shopping behavior, temporarily limited to districts, but only a matter of time until it is delivered about individual people. This is not about your health. This is not talking about making you make better, healthier choices and choose an apple instead of a Mars bar. This is about complete control of how you spend your money, tracked, mapped, monitored and surveilled via your digital ID, which is connected to your digital bank account. I've been having a lot of fun on YouTube recently, but it's important to remember all this is going on in the background. If you live in a district where a lot of unhealthy stuff is consumed, it does affect your life insurance and your pension and your death insurance. And we already check the liquidity of all customers, but it's quite old-fashioned. With the coming technological advances, digital ID and digital currency, we will be able to check the liquidity in real time via interfaces with banks and credit institutions, as well as the tax circumstances of each customer. Also planned and already scheduled as a pilot project for 2025, a cooperation with the Federal Ministry of Defence and National Security. If a vehicle is registered to a politically exposed person and there is a suspected case, remember that word, this person will no longer be able to start their vehicle. Minority Report. It will be deactivated via remote monitoring. This applies to all private vehicles in which the politically exposed person sits, except officially registered ones, i.e. police cars. They're talking about an RFID tag on your driving license that would stop you from even getting in anybody else's car. A powerful RFID chip will be built into these digital ID cards. This enables a close coupling of 10 meters, but monitoring and localization with an accuracy of approximately 1,000 meters. This is of particular interest to the insurance company because in the event of damage, we can more easily locate the people and acts of damage and crimes and those involved. We're already in negotiations with hang on. So when the insurance companies present this to us, when the powers that be say, oh, this is why we want to bring it in. We want to bring it in so if you have a crash, we can find the people that did it. And all the Karens will say, that sounds like a great idea. This is going to cut down on uninsured drivers. Not realizing that behind that is some very, very bleak stuff in a dystopian future where everything is tracked and monitored, like everything I've been trying to say for the last 18 months. Yes, it's always presented with a little bit of, oh, that could work, that could be useful, but you always have to stop and ask the question and say, how else could this be used? And who are the people that are going to be using it? And do we trust them? And do they have a good track record? We're already involved in negotiations with the European Digitalization and Data Protection Managers to also be able to access this data in more detail, justified under the name of security, customer friendliness, and digitalization. Easier, more convenient. The background is the boom in accident insurance, whereby we are, of course, interested in how often, when, how, and above all, where each customer moves. Our pilot projects with the connection to artificial intelligence are particularly interesting, here in ongoing cooperation with Google and Microsoft. In the next 5 to 10 years, if not much sooner, there will be a revolution, both in the areas of digitalization and artificial intelligence. That will make the invention of the internet look like the invention of the pencil. This is not a conspiracy theory or a joke. These are projects that we are already piloting in the implementation and testing phase in the insurance sector. Side notes, in the coming years, owners of electric cars will be prepared to pay a battery tax instead of an engine tax. The reason being, batteries pose an increased risk of fire and are harmful to the environment. Payment will be made on a sliding scale of watt-hours per kilogram weight of your battery. Already in the insurance for autopilots here, the higher your insurance amount, the safer your autopilot will act. So you pay more insurance and you'll get better autopilot. Don't be under any illusions that the autopilot will act the same in all vehicles in the event of an accident. At every point in time, we know who, when, how, and why people are in the car and what they're doing. That's that.
Nobody should be surprised. No one should be surprised. And I don't know how long ago, 10, 11 years ago, I and so many of us were posting on exactly what you just heard. They will be able to track everything. Everything once we go digital. And you buy potato chips and soda, immediate will your health insurance premiums go up. Okay, well, let me see. Here.
Paso, Texas, Border Patrol agents say the city's storm drains are just the latest way criminal organizations are exploiting the system to get migrants into the country illegally.
A lot of children, you know, people will do anything to get through, and the smugglers, they don't care about the life of the person. We've had a couple of people die in there.
Migrants by the thousands also continuing to show up at the border itself and turn themselves in, asking for asylum, though the majority don't qualify under current law. This port of entry in Lukeville, Arizona is now temporarily closed because it saw such a huge increase in migrant activity. The Tucson sector alone seeing about 2,500 migrants per day. In Chicago, hundreds of migrants are now sleeping on the streets in freezing temperatures.
What's it going to take for the Biden administration to wake up and do something about it? To do it.
What did it take for you to wake up and do something about it? This is a senator from Texas. Cronin is his name or something. What is it going to do for any of you in Washington, D.C. to recognize how you are leaving Americans, the actual citizens in this country, so susceptible to all kinds of violence? Don't just stand there on the floor of Congress and make your speeches. I'm sick of it. This has been going on for decades. I mean, my God, I can't tell you how many countless videos on this issue that I've posted in 13 years during the Obama years. And yes, 2 years after Obama, so it was 2011, I believe, the Republicans had control over the House and Senate. Now, all of you were campaigning, to make sure that you, the elected, campaigning on repealing Obamacare. And guess what? When you had the power to do it, you didn't do it. So I'm sick of this. We have one party, and they are treasonous, and they are killing us.
Where are you guys? Syria? Are you together? Group? No. Are you guys Syria as well? Where are you from? Syria? You too? Okay. Do you speak English? No? No English? Okay. Where are you guys from? Where are you from, sir? Where are you from? Syria as well? Senegal. Okay. Where are you from? Senegal. Okay. Where are you from, sir? Senegal? Sudan. Okay. Where? Syria. Okay. Do you speak English? Okay. No? Okay. Where are you from?
Chad.
Where?
Chad.
Chad. Okay. Chad. Are you guys together? Do you know each other? Know each other? No? Okay. Where are you guys?
Not good. All right, so Allie in Arizona said, I talked with 2 little girls from Ecuador who were all alone, ages 10 and 7, who say their mom is already in the United States. When I asked them why they were alone, they started crying. It was cold, so we brought them to a Border Patrol truck. They were terrified. I tried to reassure them everything would be okay and we would find their mom. Border Patrol agents could not guarantee they would be reunited. Make promises that you can't fulfill.
Yeah, Nicole, you're exactly right. And here in Lukeville, it's still quite the sight to see. We still have hundreds of people, most of them single adults over here, that are waiting to be transported and processed. They haven't even been received by Border Patrol yet. Some of them have been waiting here for 3 days. It is getting a little unruly out there. They are starting to argue a little bit. So it's something to definitely that Border Patrol's keeping an eye on. But this comes as the Lukeville Port of Entry is also closed officially today. Last week, it was reduced. So now we're seeing that closure because it is that all hands on deck posture down here. And we have some new numbers to share about these unaccompanied minors that are crossing into the United States. After a little lull, we saw those numbers in custody go down to about 9,000. Now we're back up, surpassing 10,000 again, Nicole. And I did get the chance to talk to 2 young girls that had crossed over the border. They were absolutely terrified. 2 young girls, ages 7 and 10. They came across unaccompanied, and they were actually from Ecuador. You can hear some of the things that they say here really quickly. Listen to this. Where are they from? Okay, we're going to put them in a truck. Yeah, so these girls are just 7 and 10, as I mentioned. They have no family here. They kept asking me for their mom. They were just scared beyond belief. They had tears streaming down their eyes. I was trying to reassure them that they would be okay, but I did ask Border Patrol what is the likelihood that they would actually be reunited with their family on this side, because they said that their mother was already in the United States. They said they can't guarantee it. Take a listen to what a retired Homeland Security investigator said about this.
Most of these children, at least in my experience, the cases that I investigated, the children and the child was given up by the parent voluntarily. A lot of people think, well, the cartel stole them from the parents. That's actually, sure, does that happen? Of course, but it's rare.
Okay, so as I mentioned.
Bullshit, it's rare. Come on. Come on. But there are parents who sell their children, sell them into to smugglers. There are women who have babies and then have more babies to sell to child traffickers. Cartel sure as hell steal children. And there's a whole organized network of people stealing children. This is so unbelievable, man. I just,
Why should our national security be tied to or held for funding for Ukraine or Israel? These are two separate issues. And I believe that our southern border needs to be a top priority. The Democrat Party needs to quit playing political games with the safety of the American people. We can fix this problem, and it cannot get caught up with DC politics. Thousands and thousands of illegal crossings every single day are happening in our country, and we have to put a stop to it. Our Border Patrol agents are exhausted. They cannot apprehend everyone that is coming in illegally into our country. We've already had over 1 million gotaways, and these could be the most dangerous individuals coming into our country. Our top priority needs to be our southern border. I cannot stress that enough.
well, that's pretty obvious, but you know what? The American people need to get involved. Nothing's going to stop until the American people get involved. Put away your trivial differences, the insignificant differences with one another. And wow, the red and the blue team fighting. You want to talk insignificant? Because you're fighting on different teams when you're really on one team. Yeah. I'm going to put the link into this video. Jeff buys car, which some asked for and I forgot and I didn't do it. So it is in the link. They are coming for your car, and Insurance Insider speaks out. The link is in the chat. Now, I was watching this Lahaina, okay? This is a drone video of what looks like, wow, kind of a directed energy taking out all of these homes. Let's just play a few minutes. I'll put the link in the chat. You can watch it. And, yeah, spot the anomalies. Spot the anomalies. Entire home gone, but this very dead tree with dead leaves on it, it's still there, perfectly fine. And that you'll see throughout. It's really very hard to take, just looking at this. It's a wow, man, and how people can't see. How people can't see. It's remarkable how these wildfires seem to jump over completely the trees, all of this brush. The fire was here, didn't touch all of this, what looked like just dead brush, but it jumps over, it takes out this house, and you'll see that throughout the video. And it jumps, it just doesn't even, it goes from, oh, come on. You know, perfectly clean, fine, but it just takes out all of these homes. This is completely untouched, all of these bushes. All right, well, don't even know what to say anymore. Rabbi dropping truth bombs.
Every government in the world has a secret government behind it that run the show. If you think that the president, the prime minister, you think they're doing it, they're puppets. 100% puppets. They control armies, nations, governments, all the money in the world, all the richest families in the world, Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, and I can tell you already one thing, that anyone that somehow made money within a very short span of time has to be part of it. And you think that Mike Zuckerberg owns Facebook? He's a puppet. Facebook was created for their manipulation. Same thing with YouTube, same thing with WhatsApp and Instagram and Netflix and everything. How did Netflix become so big within 2 years? Only with the power of the ultimate endless money of the world. And it's much more than that. World War I was designed by them. World War II, designed by them. Federal Reserve, which people think belongs to the American government. Doesn't belong to the government even. It's a private organization. NASA, CIA, the assassination of JFK, who was the first one who ever talked about it, got a bullet in his head. Needless to say, the attack on the Twin Towers, it wasn't bin Laden. It was all one big agenda because they needed to go to Afghanistan. You know why? To put pipes in the sea It's all one big show. We're being fooled, and millions of Americans are cheering. We're going to a war against terror. No, you've been fooled. And you think it's different in Israel? You know that Israel was built by the Freemasons, by the way, by the Zionists. There's nothing here kosher. Who approved? Who approved the Declaration of Israel? The United Nations, of course. An organization of peace and unity, and we love all. It's a terror organization built by the New World Order. And they approved the Declaration of Eretz Israel. All the founders of the country of Israel are Freemasons.
Okay. Well, nothing kosher in Israel. All right. So, nothing kosher anywhere. CDC replaces pregnant women with pregnant people in vaccine guidance. The words mother, she, and her have been erased. CDC. And you can trust that. Private organization, for profit. And this. Moms for Liberty chapter breaks from national group over rape allegations. Well, any way that they can take them down, they're going to do it. I don't know if any of this is true. This is what they do, though. And boy, Moms for Liberty became a powerhouse very quickly. Chapters all over the nation. Take them down. Local chapter of conservative parental rights group, Moms for Liberty, is breaking away from the national organization after the husband of one of its co-founders was accused of rape. Reports emerged last week that Kirsten Ziegler, Florida's GOP chairman and the spouse of Moms for Liberty co-founder Bridget Ziegler, was accused of rape by a woman who had previously had a long-standing consensual three-way sexual relationship with the Zieglers. Now the local chapter of Moms for Liberty in Northumberland County, Pennsylvania, is breaking off from the national organization in the wake of the accusations. It's hard to advocate for parental rights when the co-founder is caught up in the scandal. Our values are not aligning with the national organization. But don't they know that this is what they do? Allegations are not proof of anything, and anyone can make allegations and get paid for it. Don't people know that this is going on? Abigail Martinez, a California mother, had her child taken away from her by CPS because she would not let her teenage daughter transition and become sterile. She was taken by the government and they let her transition. Phew. It's happening. It's already happening. Wow. Lost her daughter. California mother who lost her daughter to suicide after transitioning and was removed from custody for not supporting her gender identity, filed an amicus brief, friend of the court brief, urging the U.S. Supreme Court to hear a case from another mother in Indiana facing the loss of custody for not supporting her daughter's gender transition. Abigail Martinez is a Salvadorian immigrant who raised 4 children in California, one of whom began questioning her sexuality amid a struggle with depression in high school. School staff told her daughter to join the school's LGBTQ club where the mother claims in her amicus brief that school club persuaded that the only way to be happy was to change her gender, and that the school psychologist encouraged her daughter to do the same with a new policy at the school requiring staff to use students' pronouns and preferred names for students without parental notification or permission. Wow. Martinez was not informed of her daughter's new identity and feels the school staff should have helped. Well, quote, the school staff should have helped me, but they became my worst enemy. Taking away the kids from a parent who is trying to protect her child. That's what we got going here in the good old US of A. Okay, so I had, what was the title of this? The Importance of Friends and Family. And yeah, he's right. This is Southern Prepper 1.
Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. This is a short video. I have not done a video in like 4 days. Nate is gone. Nate's at a military competition, shooting competition. So I've been very busy with the 3 grandbabies here. Just to give them extra time, seeing daddy's not here, and daddy's a big part of their lives every day. And it's planned like that. It's planned so his priority, yes, he's got to work, but priority is his 3 kids, his wife. And that's how we're doing things here. And the reason we can do things here is because he lives right here next to me on the same property. So financially, it benefits us both. Why do we need to have 2 tractors? If he lived 20 miles away, he would need a tractor there. I need a tractor here, different pieces of equipment. We can go ahead and buy 1 piece of equipment that's really good quality, and we both have it. We both can accomplish the tasks necessary on the property. So the point is, family is very important. I just got back from visiting relatives up north, had a great time, but now I'm back here. And I want to talk about survivability. Your survivability is definitely directly correlated to your family. And if you don't have a family, just assume your close group, a close community. But when you have family, and you need to live close together. And some people say, well, my kids moved here, and all these relatives moved away for jobs, and that's great. But when it really comes down to you surviving what's coming, it is family. It's multiple hands, it's multiple skill sets, it's the ability to lean on each other. And without that ability to lean on each other, life is hard. Just like if I get sick and I'm in bed for a day, a week, a month, whatever it takes, Nate's here, my daughter-in-law's here, they can pick up the slack, help my wife, and vice versa. We're here, we watch the kids a lot. It's awesome. So we're an instant, secure babysitter for them. So if they need to go run errands, they can leave the kids here. It makes life easier to have family. My parents aren't far from here, so it's easy to take care of them if they get sick. Family is the key to surviving what's coming. Some of you I talk to, you don't have family, and I actually feel very bad for you. So at that point, a lot of you use Facebook and socialize on Facebook, which is great. But when a catastrophic event hits, you are not going to be able to communicate them. The internet might not even be up. And a person that lives halfway around the world is not going to be able to help you. Give you a ride, fix your car, give you some food, do whatever it needs to be done. So if you're relying heavily on your emotional support from Facebook or from the internet, I urge you to slowly wean yourself off and find some real humans, some real flesh, some people. You're going to need people. You're going to need people that care for you. I can't stress this enough. I talk to a lot of people that are very lonely. If you're lonely, are you staying in your house all the time? And you get into that funk, you're just going to continue to be lonely. If you stay in your house, you have to get out. You have to meet people. when you try to meet people, you put yourself at risk. And I understand that. Emotionally, you're at risk of not being accepted by them or them betraying you. But you have to take that chance. I have taken it my whole life, and I have some great, great, great friends. I can probably say I have too many friends because I cannot maintain or expand on those relationships because I'm just so busy. I wish I had more time to do that. I got a buddy I hadn't talked to in a couple months. He lives close. So I'm going to remedy this week. I'm going to definitely see if we can go out and grab a bite to eat next week for sure. Just life is busy. You can feel that wind. Sorry about the camera shaking. But I'm urging you, what is coming, you will need a support structure. If you do not know your neighbors right now, maybe in a worst case event, some of you will unite out of necessity. But I'm urging you now, develop skin-to-skin contact. We're going to call it skin-to-skin contact. If you can't shake their hand, you can't pat them on the back, it's not going to help you. So you having 279 friends on Facebook is not the right answer. I'm not saying totally cut it off because you might be communicating with other relatives that live far away, and it's good to share what's happening in your life. But when the rubber meets the road, it's got to be skin to skin. So I'm very blessed to have my son here, his family here. And it is so helpful for them and for us. In the old days, just think about the Waltons, the TV show The Waltons. 3 generations were there. And it provided a huge support structure. I think that's what kept people from going insane. I think it helped with the suicide today is rampant because people feel alone. People feel like no one cares. But I'm going to tell you, you got to put yourself out there. Some of these relationships you're going to start to build, you're going to realize that it's probably not what you need. And it's going to hurt you. You might be betrayed. You might be used. But you got to have them. So you're sitting in your house right now and you're lonely. You got to get out. You got to put yourself out there. So first of all, whatever religion you are, go to church. Hopefully you're going to a church that preaches the Bible and not just give you some little feel good. If every time you go to church, it just makes you feel so good and pumped up and it doesn't convict you and you say, dang, that's in my life and the pastor said that was wrong, I need to make a change there. So if you go to church and you're convicted, that's probably a good sign you're in the right place. Now act on that conviction, and whatever's in your life that ain't supposed to be there, get rid of it. And the only way you know that is what the Bible says. Hopefully your preacher is preaching the Bible. So, church, number 1. Number 2 is your hobbies. If you're trying to get into ham radio, join a ham club. If you're into gardening, join a gardening club. Bowling, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be directly related to prepping. You could say, I like bowling. Let me join a bowling team. Or you like shooting. Maybe I can get in with the local club here and join the club. If you want to make friends in any of these things, you got to get in there and get involved. You have to some sweat equity. You need people to say, oh, he joined the gun club and he comes out and he does work on the range, or he's in the church and he's helping out doing this or that or this, or in a club. You volunteer to go early, set it up, clean it up. Because that's what I look for. I don't want the one person that comes, goes to the meeting and then shoots out the door, doesn't contribute. Because then you can see who the workers are. You can see who are really motivated. So I'm urging you, friendship, friendship, and really family. I hope this helps. But if you're lonely, you got to get out there and fix the problem. Staying in your house is not the solution. It's going to make it worse. Thanks for watching.
What do you think? We're living a very different time, and an awful lot of people who have family, who have friends, who have a very stable life, they are not getting what's out there. People are really screwed up, and people can actually make your circumstances far worse. I'm experiencing that, and based on the comments that I've been reading, yeah, there are other people who are experiencing that, and it's a whole lot of people are experiencing, especially when you get older, it's very hard to, just get out there and meet people. And, if you're talking about survival, and that's why you need to meet these people, I can guarantee you that most of the people in this community are not going to help me survive. And in an awful lot of places that I've gone to, I don't know anyone who has been able to maintain even the kind of relationship that is based on survival. Neighbors, Montana, you got the Christians, you got the Mormons. They clash. And then you have a former Wall Street banker, all elderly, okay? Maine, that subscriber had, been involved in some group, survival group. Well, issues came up, boom, boom, gone. Nobody talks to one another. I sure, wanted with certain people to maintain the relationship, and I got so screwed out of nowhere, out of the blue, like, what the hell is going on? So this is very difficult for an awful lot of people. And now I know that Southern Prepper has a pretty strong family, clearly a very strong family, and I know of one other subscriber who has a strong family. That's it. But for what is coming, I know for sure I can't survive. Okay. And then that leads to an awful lot of moments of fear, not about my life, my cats. Okay, do I want to be here if and when another pandemic comes up? Holy shit, no. So it's not a loneliness that I feel, but it's the aloneness that is crippling. If I get sick, I don't have anyone. If anything happens, I have an emergency, I don't have anyone. So I worry about my cats. I've been having a lot of vertigo, I've been having a lot of dizziness, and I had a stroke, I've had mini strokes, I'm susceptible to more strokes, and I feel like, what am I going to do? Okay, that, and when I see people saying, have no fear, wear the armor of God, stop that, okay? It's okay for people to experience what they're feeling. If they had confidants, if they had people in their life that they could go and talk to and get some solace and get out what they're feeling, they'd be in good shape. But we don't have that. The one thing I wanted, the only dream I had in this nightmare that I've been living, is to have a friend I can trust. Lying, 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 lying. Clean up your lying. You know, I just... Awakened sleeper, thank you. But where are you? And because of my experiences with subscribers, I've been flattened out on trust. This subscriber here, boom. But people can do this kind of crap to other people when they don't need. But they do it to people who are really hurting, really in need of trust, and then they flatten you. But they don't care. They're fine. The ripple effects of what they do, they don't even think about it. They just go about their business. But the ripple effects are very real. So for a person who is desperate for help, and then because of all of their experiences with people lying and treating them like shit, you begin to lose trust. And it gets to the point where you can't trust anyone. Am I angry about that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because I feel the effects. And now, based on the experiences that I've had here with one neighbor coming over and threatening my cats and other things that have happened, do I want to go out and meet people in this community? No. I don't. Especially with the subscriber who, has gossiped, and she knows the guy that came over to threaten my cats, and did she put him up to that? This is the kind of crap that you have to deal with. It's like being in junior high school. Okay, so Awakened Sleeper, you're going to come over if I'm not feeling well? You live in southwest Idaho. I don't think so. All right. And very important to understand that when you're saying, make people in the chat your family, you're not my family. In fact, a lot of you are kind of like my family. Because you're hurting, I'm hurting, and you don't reach out. So, you're just like my family. I don't exist for you. Be real. It's very important to be real. Your friends on Facebook are not going to be helping you. The people here, there's nothing that you can do for me. And I feel a coldness coming about in an awful lot in the cyber world now. For years and years, based on my circumstance, I needed to get comments from people. I needed, to have that cyber connection with people. And that's gone now. I have a cyber connection with a few people that I talk to on occasion. But something is happening that is very, very different. Just very different in the cyber world. For me. And it's not good. So, being alone, and understand, if you're still in your area and you go out and you go shopping and you bump into a neighbor, or you have you have family, you can't talk to them, that there's really not much connection, that's not alone. You still have people in your life. So when I say I'm alone, I mean it. Alone. So it's hard when you try to connect in the cyber world, and everybody has their own definitions, of an experience of being alone. And that's very different from being lonely. I fortunately have not had to suffer from loneliness, but the aloneness of my life is like chilling. Going from this area to that area to the now, you have no stability, you have no familiarity, you don't know anyone, you're trying very hard, to just keep up, but you don't have anything to work with. And yes, you do get that kind of grip in the stomach of, fuck, man, what happens if something happens to me? What am I going to do with the cats? A whole lot of people have very different experiences, and I don't know that and I'm not saying there aren't people who are having that grip in their stomach of what happens if something happens to me. But in South Carolina, where I was beginning to establish a life again, that's why I said often that taking me out of Anderson, South Carolina, which for years I had a whole lot of difficulty adjusting, a real lot. But I was in one place for 3 years. Stability was coming back, familiarity was there, meeting people, had connections. If anything happened to me, I had neighbors. And I knew my moving out of Anderson, South Carolina was going to be my death knell. And it pretty much has been. So, Carol, we weren't born yesterday, and we understand your circumstances. I don't understand that. So, in terms of what Southern Prepper was saying, family that you are not connecting with, but they're still in your life, then hang on to what you do have in common, and that those things that you can get along with your family. Hang on to them. Friends too. Now, I have heard an awful lot of the from people who have said that their friends have just changed overnight, and that's it, the friendship's gone. I'm not quite sure what to say about that, but if you do have friends and you can relate on, certain levels in real life, the touching is important. That's what in real life. Do what you can to maintain those relationships, because that will definitely help you. It's not like I had any deep friendships, of those people that I met in South Carolina. I had a very, very, very good friend that I still love in South Carolina, but I couldn't. The lying got to me. I felt very confused by it, humiliated by it, and that still hurts. But for all of those that I did have in my life in Anderson, it sustained me. It was okay. I don't need much, you know, so I'm confused by the chat, so I'm not even going to read it. So, yeah, he's absolutely right. You know, the relationships that you have in your life today, in real life, well, if you have a strong family, you're lucky. You're very lucky. That will help sustain you, for sure, emotionally. But what we are looking at, I'm afraid to say that I don't think anybody's going to be surviving. Those who are alone will absolutely go down first. Those who have family and community and whatever will last longer. And to tell you the truth, you know, what we are looking at, I don't want to survive. I have no interest. You know, but I do. I keep thinking about the younger generation and what we have left for them. And my God, my God, there's a price to pay for how we have operated in life. There's a price to pay. You know, one of the prices is right here. What? My God. So many people are suffering with the cost of living crisis.
That's to pay for my food shopping. That is to get everything else I need. Travel to work, everything. And yet I'm supposed to have £1,200 saved up, ready for when my insurance comes for renewal. That is not going to cover how much insurance has gone up by. My insurance quotes are coming back at £1,800 minimum. Minimum! Which is £200 a month. £200 a fucking month, because they don't stick it at 1,800. As soon as I have to move that over to monthly pay, now it's 2,500, which means I'm going to have to pay £200 a month car insurance, meaning what right now leaves me with £600 a month left over my bills. I'm going to be left with £400 a month. That's to pay for my food shopping. That is to get everything else I need, travel to work, everything. And yet I'm supposed to be what you are calling the perfect example. But no, I'm not, am I, Rishi? Because the only way you're a perfect fucking example in this state, in this economy, is if you're in a fucking couple and you're both working and you're both paying for the bills. But I'm not. I pay my bills. I go to work. And yet it's still not enough for me to be able to eat. But please do justify all your other fucking plans. Well done, you stopped fucking 14-year-olds from being able to smoke. You stopped a dog. A fucking dog. You're the biggest waste of space this country's ever fucking heard of. And the way the government actually has the audacity to sit there and allow for people like me who go out and work 5 times a week. Further from that, I've had to look at getting a second job for the second time just so I'm going to be able to get by. Whilst you sit there talking about how you can't get your 7 different types of fucking bread. I can't even afford to go and buy 1 type of fucking bread. And you're talking to the country about 7. You've got us paying for your second fucking homes. You've got us paying for your £40 a day food allowance. £40 fucking pound for lunch. I don't even spend that a week on food. What do you mean you get that a day? You're a fucking disgrace.
Not sure who she was talking to, but people are really hurting. Too bad we can't get it together, to develop some real community with one another, to help one another. It's, wow, man. And eventually people are going to be really losing it. So, most of the time I have no idea what to say anymore. I hate the circumstance I've been driven into because it's frustrating every single day. Because I don't have the resources to get myself out of this circumstance, to do, what I've been wanting to do, and it feels like a prison, and it's very, very hard. So then when I think about my situation subjectively, I then go objectively. And I know for a fact that millions upon millions are suffering. And they're suffering the circumstance of being a victim of evil, of all of these agendas, whether it's weather modification or people who suck. People who suck. Horrible people. Okay? Horrible people. We've got a lot of them. We have an awful lot of them. A 95-year-old woman, her bank account was drained.
When my child with special needs wonders.
Virginia Weimer and her caregiver went through all of the proper steps to take care of this, and when they were denied by the credit card company numerous times and didn't understand it, they turned it over to me to help them get answers.
That's been a nightmare, been terrible.
At 95 years old, Virginia Weimer lives a simple life, but she says a crook has turned things upside down after gaining access to her checking account and draining it. She tells me Bank of America reimbursed her the $13,000 the criminal took, but an overdraft protection on the account means $4,237.83 went to her Bank of America credit card. The bank denied her claim pertaining to the credit card, leaving her on the hook for the crook's charges.
It's on your mind all the time. And I didn't tell my daughter about it because she's not well anyway, and I've lost 2 children. I don't want anything to happen to her.
Jerry Starr is Virginia's caregiver, and when the two of them had no luck with the bank, they called me for help. The bank sent this letter saying the claim is denied because the charge covered an overdraft. Starr says the last representative he spoke with said the decision was final.
She wants a 95-year-old lady that has very limited income to take care of this. That's wrong. And that's why I called you. This is wrong. I don't know who to talk to with a big enough voice that they don't hear it, a 95-year-old or a 73-year-old guy. They don't hear us.
Okay, well, hopefully they'll hear me.
Yes.
I reached out to Bank of America on Virginia's behalf and was told they are escalating this. I then received an email that said they are finalizing a positive resolution. For Virginia, a resolution can't come fast enough.
It's been so stressful. I know during the midst of this, she calls me and says she can't breathe. And so she come over here and she just cannot breathe. So we ended up taking her to the emergency room and basically checked out physically, but I think it just from all the stress, she was probably having a panic attack, and it's affected her quite a bit.
I spoke with Jerry again this afternoon, and he tells me that the saga continues. He says that it was explained that Virginia would still have to pay the money back because it was a loan to her checking account. I relayed this to the Bank of America spokesperson. She says that she cannot share details because of privacy concerns, but that they will have someone call them back to continue to work on this and sort it out.
Overdrafts that she didn't create, but she's being stuck with the bill. Wow. Life could be, it could have been really sweet. It could have been wonderful if we had more wonderful people. I got myself straight way too late because of all of the issues that I've had from my malignant narcissistic family. And you got to work on them to stop behaving in ways that hurt people. And yeah, you can destroy and kill somebody. You don't even have to touch a hair on their head. So, be a power of example of living honestly and speaking honestly. We need more trustworthy human beings in the world. We need more trustworthy human beings in the world. And be a force of good. Take every day as an experiment, an exercise, bringing your best self to life. And thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. Be safe, and yeah, good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.